Have you ever wondered why we call a building the church when, in the New Testament, the word clearly referred to people, the followers of Jesus Christ? How did the word church evolve from meaning a community of believers to a physical structure? The answer might surprise you and reveal how tradition gradually replaced biblical intent. In the New Testament, the Greek word translated as church is ekklesia, which literally means to assembly, or gathering. It was never intended to signify a building but rather a collective of believers. For instance, in Acts 2 verses 46 to 47, it says, "Every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts." The early Christians gathered in homes, not in specially designated religious buildings. Similarly, Paul addresses the church that meets in their house in Romans 16 verse 5, emphasizing that the people, rather than a place, constitute the church. However, as Christianity spread and gained societal influence, the concept of the church began to change. Early church leaders started to develop a different understanding as their contexts evolved. The abolishment of locational worship. Jesus prophesied the destruction of the temple in 70 AD as recorded in Matthew 24 verses 1 to 2, "Truly, I tell you, not one stone here will be left on another, every one will be thrown down." This prophecy indicated the end of temple-centered worship. Additionally, Jesus spoke to the Samaritan woman in John 4 verses 21 to 24, saying, "A time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. God is spirit, and his worshippers must worship in the spirit and in truth." This statement reflects a clear move away from locational worship, emphasizing a personal, spiritual connection rather than a designated place. Dr. Michael Heiser, in his book The Unseen Realm, discusses territorial worship in the Old Testament, explaining that ancient Israel understood specific locations as sacred due to divine presence. In the ancient Near East, worship was geographically tied to places where divine beings were believed to dwell. Heiser, The Unseen Realm, chapter 23. He notes that this notion changed with the coming of Jesus, who emphasized worship in spirit rather than at a specific site. Early church fathers and the transformation. Clement of Rome, c. 96 AD, in his letter to the Corinthians, often called 1 Clement, Clement refers to the orderly conduct of God's elect, urging believers to honor their leaders. He writes, "Let us be careful, brethren, lest by any means we fall from the steadfastness which we have attained." 1 Clement 42:1. Though Clement emphasizes community and respect for leaders, he does not refer to the church as a building but as the body of believers. The text is found in the Apostolic Fathers edited by J.B. Lightfoot. Ignatius of Antioch, c. 110 AD. Ignatius highlights the importance of unity under the bishop in his letter to the Smyrnians. "Wherever the bishop appears, there let the people be, just as wherever Jesus Christ is, there is the Catholic Church." Smyrnians 8:2. Here the church is clearly the people united under their leader, not a physical building. This can also be found in the Apostolic Fathers. The Didache, c. 60-100 AD. This early Christian manual instructs believers on communal meals and worship. "But every Lord's Day gather yourselves together, and break bread and give thanksgiving, first confessing your transgressions." Didache 14:1. This depicts the church as a gathering focused on mutual fellowship and repentance, clearly a community event. Justin Martyr, c. 155 AD. In his first apology, Justin describes Christian gatherings. "On the day called Sunday, all who live in cities or in the country gather together to one place. And the memoirs of the apostles or the writings of the prophets are read." First Apology, chapter 67. While describing a physical gathering, the emphasis remains on the assembly and the teaching, not the building itself. Found in the Ante-Nicene Fathers. Clement of Alexandria, c. 150-215 AD. In the Stromata, Clement uses church both for the assembly and by implication for the place. We who are called Christians must not be considered to be speaking of a building, but of a spiritual church in which the hearts of men are gathered. Stromata, Book 3, Chapter 11. This dual meaning reflects the beginning of associating church with place. Found in the Ante-Nicene Fathers. Tertullian, c. 155-240 AD. Tertullian refers explicitly to the church as a place in the corona. To enter the church is to enter into a sacred place where the Lord's presence is manifested. The Corona 3. Here the building and rituals within become more prominent. This work is in the Ante-Nicene Fathers. According to Dr. Tom Wadsworth, this linguistic and conceptual shift was driven by Christianity's increasing institutionalization and the need for distinct sacred spaces as the faith became more public and formalized. In his lecture series Early Christian Worship, Community or Institution, he emphasizes that early gatherings focused on mutual edification rather than formal worship structures. This aligns with 1 Corinthians 14 verse 26. When you come together, each one has a hymn, a lesson, a revelation, a tongue, or an interpretation. Let all things be done for building up. Check the link in the description for more insights from Dr. Wadsworth. Suggestion: understanding that church originally meant the gathering of believers rather than a building can reshape how we approach fellowship today. Rather than feeling confined to a formal church building, consider that whenever and wherever believers meet together, they can consider this the church. While I'm not suggesting anyone leave their church if they are a member, I encourage believers to supplement their walk with Christ by meeting frequently, preferably in a comfortable place conducive to discussion and edification. Conclusion: this gradual evolution, from gathering of believers to a physical structure, shaped how Christians today perceive a church. The word, once rich with the meaning of community and fellowship, became associated with a building. But was this shift just a linguistic evolution, or does it reflect a deeper theological change? And why didn't the early church come together to worship the way we think of it today? Stay tuned as we unravel the surprising reality in the next episode. Special thanks to Dr. Tom Wadsworth for his invaluable insights into early Christian worship practices. His work has greatly informed our understanding of how a church evolved from a community of believers to an institutional structure.